In the book of Genesis, God commands Abraham to leave his family, his father's house, and all his relatives. God is very clear with his instructions. However, Abraham chooses to pick his nephew Lot and come with him, and this was against God's instructions. He obeyed, but not completely. From a humanitarian perspective, this is actually looks to be a noble thing. You know, his brother has passed on, and he's probably taking responsibility of caring for his nephew. However, God was very clear. Leave all your relatives behind. Many times, God's instructions appear not to make sense. They appear sometimes to lack emotion. However, when you know God's character, when you know the heart of God, then you actually realize that God will not tell you to do something that is not good for you. God is all seeing. God is all caring. And as human beings, we cannot outlove God. We cannot care for other people more than God cares for them. We cannot be concerned about other people more than God is. And so when God is very implicit in his instructions and he tells you to cut off a relationship or stop being friends with a certain person, then you need to take heed to this. One of the critical things that we need to always remember is that God is all-knowing. He knows the end from the beginning. He sees way beyond what we can see at any point in time. God can see 10 years, 20 years, 100 years to come. And so when God gives you an instruction at the present time, he has the future in mind. When Abraham disobeyed God's instruction, he was setting up his nephew for disaster. Lot was not equipped to go in this journey. Abraham was. Lot was not. He did not have the same heart as Abraham. This journey was not for him. When you look at his entire story, you actually realize that it ends in tragedy. The story of Lot is a tragic story. And we see that tragedy not only affected his life, but also his children's lives. One decision can affect entire generations. The Bible in the New Testament clearly shows us that we should not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. The question is, why? And the answer is that two cannot walk together unless they agree. So it means that if you walk with people who do not have the same values as you, those who have a different value system, then at one point or another, it will lead to disagreement and strife. One will be pushing one way, the other will be pushing for a different way. And this is actually what we see in the story of Abraham and Lot. At one point, they disagreed. And at that point, Lot made a choice, and Lot made the wrong choice. And this affected his family and generations to come. In the Gospels, Jesus also gives us a warning concerning the reality and the consequence of following his call. He says that he did not come to bring peace on earth, but he came to bring a sword, and that as a result of following him, there will be a separation from different associations, even within family. This sounds very counterculture and difficult to swallow, but it's the ultimate truth. Jesus is saying that his call or the burden of following him will in certain instances cause divisions, even in families. Are we ready to take up this call? Are we ready to put him first in our lives? Are we ready to fully obey him at such an expense? Are we willing to take up this cross?